today's video I'm looking at the cards I've made using the Couture Creations Steampunk Dreams collection. This gorgeous butterfly, that's sort of a normal butterfly pattern on one side and all these sort of cogs and gears on the other. And on this card I've forwarded that onto some of the pattern paper so it's quite flimsy. And to make the wings stand up I've put some foam pads behind, but I haven't taken the tops off them. They're just there to help the wings stand up on the card. Okay, you've got this lovely kind of riveted badge here with love on it. And there's like a polka dot die in the collection. And I've cut that and used it as a stencil on some deep red card here to create this band. Beautiful papers, beautiful set of sentiments with it. So that's that card. And then the other card I haven't actually put together. I've been making bits for it. Now, I am going to be doing some foiling, and I'm going to be foiling with this beautiful, now they're calling these now cut and create dies. But they're a cut and foil die, or cut and emboss dies, you'll see with what I've been doing. But on this card I've used it with and without foiling. So I'm going to be needing for the foiling my Couture Creations conversion plate, which is the strong thick metal plate you can get for the Go Press and foil. So I'm just going to pop that on to my Go Press and foil so it can be warming up while I'm showing you some other things. Move those out of the way. So that just goes on there, and I need to put that back on the base unit and leave that to warm up. Okay, so for the other card I've made, I've got some bits here. Got some bits I'm actually using, some bits I kind of tried out along the way that I can talk about. So I thought on this card, I've got some extra die cuts there. I will find a use for those, but I haven't thought about what I'm going to do yet. Oh, and another one. So I had a go at foiling on some vellum, and the foiling's worked great, but I decided that that really was too thick for what I want, because I want it to allow the colour of the pattern paper to kind of come through it. So that's done on a 200 GSM vellum. If I just find my spare piece here. So as vellums go, that's pretty thick. Okay, whereas what I actually ended up using is only 100 GSM vellum, and that's much thinner. Okay, so I've cut a piece of that to size, but I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Or in fact, let me actually get that ready. So let's move these out of the way. We will get to it all. So for my foiling, I have cut a piece of foil here somewhere. There we are. No, not that piece. I just buried it under a piece of card. Honestly, I had everything ready. So bear with me a moment. There it is. Right, piece of foil. And I've kind of cut it to the rough shape and size I want. And that's really to help me with just sticking things in place, because I find that they slide on the conversion plate. And if I'm not careful, I end up with bits of foil missing because things slid. So I'm just going to roughly tape that down so that the die and the foil are taped to my vellum. And then I'm also going to use a piece of scrap card. Mine happens to be craft card. If you've seen some of my other videos, there's a story behind why I always use craft card. It's simply that I've got a lot of it because I ordered a huge pile by mistake. It'll all get used eventually, but you know, it's a big stack. So I'm going to pop that. I'll pull this out to show you. I'm just going to pop this on here. I'm going to make sure my extra piece of card and my vellum are lined up. put that on there, close the lid and leave it to warm up. No, you see it's slid already. I don't seem to be able to move that today without it sliding. Right, so that's now warming up. Now, for some of the other bits, I've actually used, well, my 4 bits, I've used kind of gilding waxes and gilding polishes. So what I've done here is I've just die cut the butterfly for some black card. And again, I've put an extra piece of card in with it, so I get a nice deep emboss for this. Okay, and then, as I say, I've used gilding waxes and mica polishes and things on it. Okay, so no foiling machine required. And let me show you how I did that. I'm just going to do this one because I've also done that with some gilding wax. So I've got a piece of card here, and I'm going to want a scrap of card, so let me just get another piece of scrap. And again, because things always seem to slide, particularly when I'm making a video, and now I've buried my tape, I'm just going to use a little bit of tape, make sure that stays on the die. So just my normal die cutting sandwich, but with the extra piece of card, and that's, I'm just going to put that through the die cutting machine. So I keep my mat clean. I just like to do this on a piece of wax paper. You just use a scrap of paper. So I've got some gilding waxes. It doesn't matter what brand you use, whatever you've got. Or say a mica polish. Again, whatever brand you've got. Now the important thing is that kind of less is more. So I like to kind of work this into my finger. And just when I think I've got most of it off my finger, then I can go to my card and start applying it. You might not get much at first, but it's okay. It's better to go over it a few times than to put too much on. So very gentle touch. So it's just like you'd do if you'd used maybe an embossing folder. Just using your gilding waxes or your polishes. And one of the things I like to do is to use 2 colours, just so I get a bit of variation. So I'm just going to take a bit more of that one, a little bit of that one, kind of mix them together. That's why I use my extra piece of paper here, so I can kind of blend those together. And I can get kind of a variation in the colour there. So if there's bits that I think would have been polished more, or just exposed to the air more maybe, you can do that, and you end up with something a bit more realistic looking. Let me get the camera to focus. There we are. Okay, so gilding waxes, polishes, whatever you've got, and it's a great thing to experiment with. Let me move that out of the way. Now, my butterfly that I've got on my GoPress and foil, that should be hot enough now, so I'm just going to roll that through my die cutting machine, clean the gilding wax off my finger as well, and then I'll be back. Okay, so this has been through the die cutting machine now, so I'm just gonna, you can use your pick and lift for this. So the die will stick to it, but it doesn't pick up the plate. So let's see how we got on. So it's all falling apart here. Right. There we are. So this just kind of falls out the die at this point. It hasn't quite cut through the foil. That's okay. There we are. So let's peel this back. Now if you have trouble getting hold of an edge, just use a piece of tape. So and just stick that on the edge and it will pick up foil. And there we are. Okay, so in foil onto vellum, as I say, I always put in an extra piece of card because otherwise it can't really get pressed into the die enough. Okay, so there's that one in that colour. Now for my card, I've actually used the grey from the collection. Okay, so I shall put details of all the foils I've used in my blog post as usual. So my idea is that when this goes down onto my card, oh, I also did the tag, so I'll come back to that. When this goes down onto my card design, which is going to have a piece of backing paper and that piece, and this is going to slip under here, kind of the wings are going to stick out, but I'm going to trim those off before I stick this down on the card. Okay, so that's my plan. And then the tag, the sentiment, which is from the collection, I've heat embossed with some proper embossing powder. And then the die cut tag, I've kind of spattered some multimedia gel product, like a gel glue, mixed media glue, around the edge, and that's given it some texture. And then I've rubbed some gilding wax over that as well. So that's got a really rustic, gnarled metal look. So that will go somewhere about there. My little love tag is going to kind of look like it's holding it in place and go about there. And then my big butterfly is going to come right at the top here. So obviously it's not stuck down, so everything's going to move, but it's going to go something like that. So do have a look at the blog post for the finished article. It's a lovely collection. You can have a lot of fun with it using all sorts of products. So yeah, great. Lovely collection of foils, great hot foil stamps, cut and create dies, useful in all sorts of ways. You can just cut them out and leave them textured. So thanks for watching.